For the next few Breakfast Bible Bites, we will continue to look into the testimony of the witnesses of Christ's resurrection. Part 13 continues the resurrection series. Is there more validating proof of Christ's resurrection? A first century, non-Christian Jewish historian named Josephus wrote about Jesus Christ and testifies in support of the resurrection. Josephus lived from 37 to 100 AD. He was born in Jerusalem, but the Jewish historian died in Rome. The credibility of Josephus is well beyond question, for his writings were well received by both the Jews and the Romans, to the point that he was even made an honorary Roman citizen. Josephus wrote the following about Jesus Christ and the development of Christianity. He said, "And when Pilate, at the suggestion of principled men amongst us, had condemned him to the cross, those that loved him at first did not forsake him, for he appeared to them alive again the third day, as the divine prophets had foretold these and 10,000 other wonderful things concerning him. And the tribe of Christians, so named for him, are not extinct at this day." What is interesting is that there are no records of any objection being raised to this passage by the early detractors of Christianity. Had this been a fraudulent statement or a false insertion into the writings of Josephus, it would have been openly debated in the literature of that day. In the early non-scriptural sources, there were no alternative explanations written about Jesus' resurrection, nor about anyone producing the missing body. The silence of the critics is most damning to the voice of the naysayers. Neither is there an alternative explanation for the rise of the Christian church given in early historical sources that would even attempt to give another real story. If the story was fabricated, surely some critic or disgruntled agnostic doubter would have attempted such an alternative explanation. But the only adequate explanation for the rise of the church that has ever been given is that the early Christians believed the myriad witnesses that Jesus had indeed been raised from the dead. Now, in tomorrow's Breakfast Bible Bites, we will continue to look into the proof of the resurrection. Why do we need to know this, since no true believer questions the validity of the resurrection? Perhaps the Apostle Peter gives us the answer in 1 Peter 3:15. "But sanctify Christ as Lord in your hearts, always being ready to make a defense to everyone who asks you to give an account for the hope that is within you, yet with gentleness and reverence."